Here, this is the cross section of epidermis showing various cells. Like you can see, these are keratinocytes. Now, almost 90% of the epidermis is made up of keratinocytes. All these cells, which you can see in these various layers, all these cells, these are keratinocytes. And in between these keratinocytes, there are Langerhans cells, there are melanocytes, and there are Merkel cells. So these are the cells which form this epidermis. The microscope look like spines. So as you can see here, that all these keratinocytes, they are having these spine-like processes. So why these spine-like processes are present here? Because these are nothing, these are desmosomes. Okay. So now you know that why this layer is known as stratum spinosum, because of these desmosomes. So as you can see here, in the lower portion, here you can see that all these cells are having nucleus. So this nucleus is prominently seen. But in the upper portion of the epidermis, this nucleus is absent. So this nucleus is completely absent in stratum corneum. So stratum corneum don't have nucleus. Okay, this is a normal finding. Like you can see, this is a cross section of epidermis. This is epidermis. Below this is dermis. This is the junction of epidermis and dermis. And as you can see that this junction of epidermis and dermis is wavy, it is not flat. So you can see there are few projections of epidermis which are coming down. There are few projections of dermis which are going up. So these projections of epidermis which are coming down, these are known as Rete ridges. So Rete ridges are the projections of epidermis which are coming down. And dermal papilla are the projections of dermis which are going up. So dermal papilla are the projections of dermis which are going up, and Rete ridges are the projections of epidermis which are coming down. Now in this epidermis, as you can see in the lower portion, like stratum basale, which is the single cell layer, here in the lower portion, nucleus can be seen. In stratum spinosum also you can see nucleus prominently. This blue colored lesion, this blue colored staining is taken by the nucleus. This is stratum granulosum. And above, in stratum corneum and stratum lucidum, you can see that nucleus is absent. In the topmost layer, nucleus cannot be seen. So this is a normal finding. So nucleus is absent in stratum corneum. But there are few conditions where it can be retained. Okay. So these are the histological findings which are sometimes seen in certain disorders. So the image you can see, this is nail plate and this is proximal nail fold. And this wing-shaped extension of proximal nail fold, this is known as pterygium. And we know pterygium is seen in lichen planus. So this is a case of lichen planus showing pterygium. While here you can see that almost half of the proximal nail is white in color. So if proximal half of the nail appears white, this is example of apparent leukonuclear seen in chronic renal failure. This is also known as Lindsay's nails. So half and half nails or Lindsay's nails. While if you find these alternate bands of white color, so if alternate bands of white color are seen, then it is known as banded nails. These are also referred to as Muricki lines. So Muricki lines or banded nails are alternate bands of white color. Next is malaria rubra. As you can see that due to blockage there is a spillage of the sweat, due to which inflammation starts. So this is red in color. So this is malaria rubra. Rubra means red, and this is the most common type of malaria. It is such a common condition that almost all of you might have suffered from this. This is commonly known as prickly heat. Okay, so this is prickly heat, malaria rubra. Disorder of, you can see here these ectopic sebaceous glands present over lips. These are Fordyce spots. Okay, so these are Fordyce spots. So Fordyce spots are ectopic sebaceous glands present over lips, while Fox Fordyce, as I told you, Fox Fordyce is disorder of apocrine sweat gland, and they are present where? Over axilla. So Fox Fordyce, axilla, these are Fordyce present over lips. This patient is having these small lesions, and these lesions are having intact epithelial lining over them. So these are closed comedones. While when there is disruption of epithelial lining, they appear black in color. These are black or open comedones. So these are the most characteristic lesions of acne. There are various gradings of acne. Here, that the lesions are large. they keep on increasing in size, they can become very large, they can take a form of cyst, or pus start collecting inside them, they become abscess. So since nodules and cysts are seen, these are nodulocystic acne. So nodulocystic acne is severe acne, grade 4 acne, and sometimes they ask you the drug of choice for this type of acne. So you can see here that this is a patient suffering from pemphigus. Now in pemphigus, since the lesions are present in epidermis, what happens? They can easily get ruptured. Okay, so since they are present in the superficial layer, that is epidermis, when the patient lie down, like in this patient, the lesions are present over the back, and since the patient when lies down, these lesions might rupture. So when they rupture, they form these erosions, and these erosions may have crusting. So erosion with crusting might be finding of pemphigus. Okay. If we talk about the sites, remember that in pemphigus vulgaris, the site which is commonly involved is buccal mucosa. Other than buccal mucosa, you might find scalp involvement, trunk and extremities involvement. While in pemphigus foliaceus, the common sites involved are seborrheic areas. And this is the finding on DIF, that is direct immunofluorescence. So in direct immunofluorescence, as you can see, all these are keratinocytes, and there are anti-desmoglein antibodies, and they are depositing where? In between the cells. So these are keratinocytes, and this is the fluorescence where it is seen. Where it is seen? It is seen in between the keratinocytes. So this intercellular deposition gives rise to this net-like pattern. This is known as fish net-like pattern, which is seen in pemphigus. Second is so this is a patient suffering from bullous pemphigoid, where you can see this tense bulla, and this tense bulla keep on increasing in size and it becomes large. Now when it becomes large, what happens? This fluid might get reabsorbed and this overlying epidermis settles down. So this is a settled bulla. Okay, so settled bulla is feature of bullous pemphigoid, and if this is epidermis and below this is dermis, you will find the deposits in between here. So this linear pattern is seen in basement membrane zone. So linear pattern on DIF is finding of bullous pemphigoid. Okay, and why this linear pattern is seen? Due to deposition of IgG antibodies which are formed against BPAG2 and BPAG1, and it is present where? In basement membrane zone. So that's why this deposit is also present there. Third, see, this is string of pearl appearance. This is the erythematous plaque, and these are the fluid filled lesions. Since these fluid filled lesions are present around this plaque, it gives a string of pearl appearance. Okay, here you can see again linear deposits. Then fourth condition is, let us see few more images. Like you can see, this is a patient suffering from dermatitis herpetiformis. Why dermatitis herpetiformis? Because this is a condition which commonly occurs over extensors. So you can see knee involvement, and over knee generally these patients present with vesicopapules, and since this is extremely pruritic condition, when patient scratch them, these excoriated lesions are seen. And if you see DIF, you will find this granular pattern which is mainly present over this dermal papilla. So this gives granular pattern over dermal papilla. This is a case suffering from herpes gestationalis, which is also known as pemphigoid gestationalis. Here the lesions are around umbilicus. So peri-umbilical lesions are seen around umbilicus, and here also linear pattern is seen in basement membrane zone. Well, this is the dilapidated brick wall appearance which is seen in Hailey-Hailey disease. Why? Because the keratinocytes are separating from each other, acantholysis is taking place, due to which these gaps are formed. Now these gaps, they give resemblance to the dilapidated brick walls. Dilapidated brick walls means the fragile walls where these cracks or gaps develop. Okay, so this is dilapidated brick wall appearance which is seen in Hailey-Hailey disease. Next, let us discuss a few images which you can see. Here you can see these are copper color coin shaped bodies. These are copper penny bodies seen in chromoblastomycosis. Here in this patient you can see the child is having this boggy swelling with associated lymphadenopathy. This is a case of carry-on. Then black dot type of tinea capitis. Here black dots are seen in the patch. If the web spaces are involved, like in between the toes, it is tinea pedis. Then in this patient you can see that the lesions are linear. So if you find these linear nodules along proximal lymphatics, it is a lymphatic variant of sporotrichosis. In chromoblastomycosis, rough growths are seen. If you find this characteristic golden yellow honey colored crusting, then it is impetigo. Here again you can see child over face having these crusted lesions. If you find hypopigmented lesions which are initially small but they have formed a patch here, large lesion, sometimes they are hyperpigmented as well. So this is pityriasis versicolor. Here you can see axilla is the common site. Under Wood's lamplight, coral red color is seen. This is erythema. This is the characteristic facies which is seen in LL type of leprosy, that is known as leonine facies. Here you can see diffuse skin infiltration, saddle nose, lateral metrosis, ear helix, earlobe infiltration. In herpes genitalis, as I told you, you will find these grouped fluid-filled lesions, so painful grouped lesions which may rupture to form these erosions. This is herpes genitalis. Anogenital warts present with these rough growths. These are also known as condyloma acuminata. These are the lesions of molluscum, where you will find these small pearly papules with central umbilication or depression. When present over genital areas, they are included in STI, and if you see the biopsy, you will find these pink colored. Why they are pink colored? Because these are eosinophilic. So these eosinophilic inclusions, these are known as Henderson-Patterson bodies. Then so if you find a patient having multiple painful genital ulcers with undermined edges, answer is chancroid. If you find enlarged lymph nodes on either side of the inguinal ligament, this is known as groove sign, which is seen in LGV. And if you find genital elephantiasis, like here you can see vulval elephantiasis leading to escumen, this is again a case of LGV. Then these patients may have melasma. Here you can see there is brownish discoloration over malar eminences. This commonly develops after pregnancy, and this is due to excessive melanogenesis, that is increased melanin synthesis. So we treat with tyrosinase inhibitors. One of the example of tyrosinase inhibitor is hydroquinone. So hydroquinone is the treatment for this condition. So this is a case of melasma where you will find brownish discoloration. These two conditions we have already discussed. This is a case of rosacea because here you can see these erythematous lesions are present over convexities like cheek, nose, chin and nasolabial. Brownish discoloration. These two conditions we have already discussed. This is a case of rosacea because here you can see these erythematous lesions are present over convexities like cheek, nose, chin and nasolabial fold is involved. While this is butterfly rashes of SLE where you can see the lesions are present over malar eminences, nose and nasolabial fold is spared. Then these are few examples where bluish colored lesions are seen. So if you find bluish lesions over lower back in infants, it is Mongolian spot. If you find bluish lesions over maxillary and the ophthalmic division of the trigeminal nerve, so here trigeminal nerve is involved and mainly maxillary and the ophthalmic division. So if you find bluish lesions over maxillary area and eye, it is nevus of Otum. And if you find bluish lesions over this side, that is neck and shoulder, so here the nerve involved is acromioclavicular nerve. So this is acromion process and this is clavicle. So this is the site which is involved, that is supraclavicular area, shoulder, neck area. So this is nevus of Ito. So these are the lesions which present with blue colored lesions. Okay. Then sometimes patient come with discoloration over one peculiar site. Like here you can see over the center of forehead. So females, they apply bindi over center of forehead, and due to the adhesive which is present behind bindi, they start developing this white spot. Okay. So this is known as contact leukoderma. Leuko means white, derma means skin, and this skin is white due to contact to a chemical. So this is contact leukoderma. So the chemical which is culprit here is para tertiary butyl phenol, because para tertiary butyl phenol is present in adhesive behind bindi. So this is a case of contact leukoderma. Here you can see that this contact leukoderma is due to hair dye. So wherever hair dye comes in contact, that portion becomes white, and hair dye has a chemical, and that is para tertiary butyl catechol. So this is again a case of contact leukoderma. Then this is a patient suffering from Becker's nevus. Becker's nevus is commonly seen in males over upper trunk during adolescence. They start developing, so during teenage they start developing over upper trunk this hyperpigmented patch. So hyperpigmented patch with, you can see thick dark terminal here, so hypertrichosis. So if you find hyperpigmented patch with hypertrichosis is male during adolescence over upper trunk, then that is Becker's nevus. Then in patients sometimes you will get this hyperpigmented velvety skin which is thickened also, so there is thickened, so thick hyperpigmented velvety skin over folds like neck folds, axilla, groin. This is a case of acanthosis nigricans, and the most common cause is obesity. So in these obese patients, they start developing this hyperpigmented thick velvety skin over folds. This is acanthosis nigricans. Now sometimes these patients, after consuming drugs, they start developing this hyperpigmented patch over genitals or lips. This is a case of fixed drug eruption. And why it is known as fixed? Because every time patient takes this drug, again the same lesions develop over same site. So it is fixed, occurs over same site. So this is fixed drug eruption, and these are the common sites which are involved, that is genitals, sometimes lips is also involved, and these drugs, they have drug specific pattern, that is tetracycline and Septron, that is cotrimoxazole, causes lesions over genitals. Then NSAIDs, they generally cause lesions over lips. Okay, then metamizole, it causes over trunk and extremities, and carbocystin causes over face. Okay, so these are the sites which are specifically involved, and over these sites, after consuming drug, if you find these lesions which are fixed, that is every involved, and over these sites after consuming drug, if you find these lesions which are fixed, that is every time they occur over the same site, then the answer is fixed drug eruption. But if you find a peculiar pigmentation over tip of nose, that could be due to chikungunya fever. So due to chikungunya fever, sometimes peculiar pigmentation develops over tip of nose. So if it is present over genitals or lips, then it is fixed drug eruption. But if it is present over tip of nose, then consider chikungunya fever as well. Now this is a case of incontinentia pigmenti where both the types of lesions can be seen. Okay, so this is X-linked dominant condition, and here if you look at the cutaneous lesions, initially they are inflammatory, then they become verrucous, then they leave behind pigmentation which becomes hypopigmented. So you can see there is hyperpigmentation and there is hypopigmentation. And remember that this presentation, as you can see, the lesions, they are going in a linear fashion. So these lesions, they follow imaginary lines of development, and these imaginary lines of development of skin are known as lines of Blaschko. So these are Blaschko lines where the lesions are generally present. So these lesions in incontinentia pigmenti, they are following a linear pattern. Initially they are inflammatory, then they become verrucous, then they become hyperpigmentary, and then hypopigmentation is seen. This is a case of pybeldism where you will find that this is a genetic condition, so present since birth. A triangular patch is present over forehead with white forelocks, so it is usually associated with white forelocks. So if you find white forelocks, then it is pybeldism. This is a case of vitiligo where you can see this depigmented lesion which is bilaterally symmetrical. So such bilaterally symmetrical lesions are seen in vitiligo vulgaris. So this is a case of vitiligo vulgaris. If it is localized to one small area, we call it focal type. If it is involving mucosa, we call it mucosal type. In this patch, sometimes you will find that these hair follicles are also white in color. This is known as leukotrichia. Leuko means white, trichia means hair follicles. So hair follicles are also white. This is leukotrichia. Then Peutz-Jeghers syndrome is one condition which is autosomal dominant condition. It associated with gastrointestinal polyps, and these lentigens are seen. Lentigens, as you can see, these dark colored lesions, these are lentigens. And as these lentigens are mainly present around lips, we call them perioral lentigens. So perioral lentigens are associated with Peutz-Jeghers syndrome. While these are the lesions, these are freckles. Freckles, which are also known as aphylids. So freckles or aphylids, these are these hyperpigmented lesions which are present over sun exposed sites. So here sun exposed sites are involved, and these lesions are commonly seen in fairer skin individuals. Fair skin individuals like individuals in Western countries. And these hypopigmented lesions are lesions of pityriasis alba. So pityriasis alba is common in children, and over the face of these children you will find these hypopigmented lesions. Here the sensation is intact, so this is not a case of leprosy, okay, and scaling might be present. So with the help of these points you can very easily differentiate from indeterminate leprosy, that where the sensation is generally impaired and scaling is absent, okay, while here scaling is present. Then atrophy is generally seen over the lesions of leprosy, but here atrophy is absent. So atrophy is absent, scaling is present, and sensation is intact. This is a case of pityriasis alba, hypopigmented lesions over face in a child. So these are few more conditions which you can remember. Here you can see this is a case of lichen nitidus. In lichen nitidus you will find these grouped pinhead sized lesions over elbow, forearm, shaft of penis. And if you take the biopsy and see the lesion, you will find this lymphocytic infiltrate which is surrounded by these elongated rete ridges. So this lymphocytic infiltrate is surrounded by these elongated rete ridges, so it gives ball in claw appearance. It appears as if this claw is holding this ball, okay. So this is ball in claw appearance which is seen in lichen nitidus, okay. So claw clutching appearance or ball in claw appearance is seen in lichen nitidus. Then one skin tumor which is important is mycosis fungoides. This mycosis fungoides, which is cutaneous T-cell lymphoma, CTCL, cutaneous T-cell lymphoma, when you do the biopsy you will find epidermotropism, that is the malignant lymphocytes which are seen in this lymphoma. These malignant lymphocytes, they have tendency to move towards epidermis, so they have tropism towards epidermis. If you closely examine these lymphocytes, you will find that these lymphocytes, they have convolutions. So since they have convolutions, they are known as cerebriform. So these cerebriform nucleus, or these malignant lymphocytes with cerebriform nucleus, these are known as Sézary cells. So remember, Sézary cells are seen in mycosis fungoides, and their small collections are known as Poutrier's microabscess. So Poutrier's microabscess, this question was very recently asked in JIPMER 2018. So Poutrier's microabscess, epidermotropism and Sézary cells, these are features of mycosis fungoides. Then this is a case suffering from ichthyosis vulgaris. In ichthyosis vulgaris, it is autosomal dominant condition. There is deficiency of filaggrin, and here there is fish-like scales. So you can see there is dryness of skin leading to fish-like scales, commonly present over extensors. So this is a case of ichthyosis vulgaris. While in X-linked ichthyosis, which is X-linked recessive condition, mainly extensors are involved, but not only extensors, there is encroachment of the flexors as well. So you can see that flexors are also involved, okay. So there is encroachment of the flexors, and in X-linked ichthyosis there is deficiency of steroid sulfatase enzyme. So steroid sulfatase is involved, is deficient. Well, this is a case of lamellar ichthyosis where whole body gets involved. So lamellar ichthyosis is autosomal recessive condition. Well, this is a case of lamellar ichthyosis where whole body gets involved. So lamellar ichthyosis is autosomal recessive condition where almost whole body is involved. This occurs due to deficiency of trans-glutaminase 1. So there is deficiency of trans-glutaminase 1. Now when this child is born, whole body is covered with a membrane. Such membrane is known as collodion membrane or collodion baby. So remember, collodion membrane or collodion baby is seen in lamellar ichthyosis. So in lamellar ichthyosis, collodion membrane or collodion baby is seen. This is the most severe type of ichthyosis, most severe. This is also autosomal recessive, and here there is gene defect. The gene involved is ABCA2 ABCA12 gene. So there is ABCA12 gene defect, and due to this defect you can see that this severe type of ichthyosis develops. Most of these fetus, they have very poor prognosis, they might die in utero, and if you see, there are very large scales which are seen. So these scales are known as armor like scale. It appears as if the child is wearing an armor. Okay, armor, that is the protective shield which the warriors wear. Okay, so armor like scaling is seen. This is due to ABCA12 gene defect. Okay.